I quit my $32K a month SMMA and then went on to make $1 million posting micro niche YouTube videos. As you can see here, this is the first payment processor. We have $569,000 in it. Click over to the second payment processor. You can see Relentless Success Club, name of the company. We made $596,000, totaling over to $1 million. And the reason why I actually went ahead and did this is because it's what the richest people online are doing. These are some names you probably know. And if I were to click into any of their channels, each of these guys are making anywhere from $200,000 a month all the way up to $500,000 a month, posting these micro niche YouTube channels here. Mark Builds Brands, another example of doing this, just posting these extremely simple YouTube videos, as you can see here. Iman, the king of YouTube, even went to do the exact same thing here, making $500,000 starting 6 months ago, again, posting these super niche down videos. And then finally, we have Roaz Brez, someone who very, very recently started their personal brand and then has the second offshoot channel where you address micro niche YouTube topics and make a lot of money doing so. Now I want to explain why I quit my own agency, because I was pretty much suffering from success. I was making $25K a month to $32K a month, completely on commission, setting appointments for other marketing agencies. And then I also went in and actually had a stint running a mortgage agency, which I'll share in a second here. But really, it's unscalable from a team perspective. It's not leveraged in the inputs you get. And if you look at where the most money is being made, and personally, that's what I want to do. I want to copy what the people that are making the most money are doing. It is not from the typical agency model where you're reaching out and you're running paid ads for people, or you're going ahead and making your content for people. It is from building personal brands and selling some form of product based off of that. And when I saw that, I realized that I'm playing the wrong game here. And over a long term, if I want to commit something for years and years of effort and thousands of hours, it's not going to be the vehicle that isn't going to make the most money possible. So this is when I decided to start my YouTube channel, and my first video absolutely popped off. Got 12,000 views and really kickstarted my channel, pretty much talking about how I signed 2 SMMA clients in 14 days at 16 years old here. And this was pretty much the catalyst for me seeing that really everything related to an agency is completely irrelevant, because with a $100 Discord server, we hit our first $10,000 a month. And to show you what the Discord server had in it, it was extremely simple. It was literally just a leveling server teaching people how to sign their first agency client. Extremely simple stuff here. They'd go through the course content, and we have wins on wins on wins on wins on wins. Click through pretty much an infinite amount here of just people going in here, signing the first client, seeing success, doing exactly what we had done with our own marketing agencies and with the own skill that we actually had. And it was pretty much just repeating raw videos like this. If I were to go to my YouTube channel here and look at the oldest videos, I had the micro niche of talking to teenagers trying to start their agencies. So I'd be here in my room as just this young kid with not really much of a clue what he's doing, very clearly also a beginner, sharing strategies that worked for me. And because of that, we were able to see massive success when we first started out. And these videos could be extremely simple. They're just slideshows just like this, and kind of like the video I'm making right now, as you can see here. So that is how simple it can actually be to see success like this. But from that point on, we realized we could only scale so far just by posting YouTube videos and selling a $100 product, because we'd have to sell hundreds, if not thousands of people to actually make good money. So we decided to increase our price to $2,500, and this happened. We, with the exact same YouTube videos, literally just a link in our description, shot up to $40,000 in revenue. But from that point on, we got stuck the exact same way. And from months on end, we'd either do 40 on the high end all the way down to doing like 25 or $30,000 here, and we relied on the YouTube algorithm. And it absolutely sucked, because even though we had taken a massive step up in business, and for the first time, instead of chasing down clients and getting disputes and all this crazy stuff, we were running a business that was actually fun to run and was enjoyable, we still had all these same problems. And we invested over $500,000 to actually try and solve these problems. We tried paid ads, and Facebook failed, Google failed. We tried it multiple times. We tried Andrew Tate's short form affiliate here. I can show you the spreadsheet of like all the applicants that we had to post content for us. This did not work. It absolutely failed on its face here, and nothing absolutely at all was going our way. We almost felt like what we were doing might be too good to be true. We had just gone from being in the trenches of an agency dealing with 40-year-old men and women who really didn't resonate and weren't fun to work with at all, to now working with our dream customers and making more money than we knew what to do with out of that. And it kind of felt like our business was a cash grab, and we were uncertain about the long term of how this would actually play out and how it would work for us. And this this is where everything absolutely changed. Because we had paid our living expenses for years and years and years on end at this point, we decided to stop taking clients on board and started a documentary series, restarting live in SMA and scaling it. And this is my business partner, Dylan, here. You can see we did around 7 episodes of restarting the agency. We actually went into the mortgage niche, as I mentioned earlier, and we scaled it up to cash collecting 46K. Actually, sorry, it's 36K in 6 weeks, as you can see here, which was a pretty crazy result. And because we had documented the entire thing, it proved our legitimacy. So then what we did was created a flywheel VSL video that explained our process. This video did absolutely crazy because we just built up all the momentum from these videos here. And from that point on, that video just broke down the math that we used to actually scale our agency that we had learned from helping so many other agencies in the past. And that led to us hitting our first $100,000 month, as you can see here, from which point on, we continued to scale up to a highest month of literally just off organic YouTube of $160,000 and using paid ads anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 a month, which the business does today. And all the strategies and tactics that we tried that didn't work ultimately led to, again, us creating the micro channel protocol that I use to this day. And if you want to actually see a training video that goes a lot more in depth of the actual nuance of how I do this, you can always click the free training in the description here. But I'm going to explain the rough estimate of the process so you as somebody watching can just take the first action steps to actually toward doing this. So the first thing is that YouTube videos require good ratios. That is the most important thing that a lot of people don't cover when making YouTube videos here. And that first off applies to the amount of YouTube videos you need to post. You've probably heard this advice before, but until you actually know whether your YouTube channel is good or not, you should have at least 50 videos posted. Until then, anything optimizing your click-through rate or your thumbnail, any of these things, it doesn't matter because 99% of people are never going to make it to the point where they actually post 50 videos to figure out if what they're doing is actually going to work. Then from that point on, with every single video, the ratios matter exponentially in order to create one idea for a video. So one video that you see go live on a channel, the top creators filter through dozens and dozens and dozens of ideas. At my business, the ratio that we like to use is a 25-to-1 ratio for all the clients that we work with and even the videos on this channel. So meaning that the video you're watching right now, I went through at least 25 other ideas that I also thought were good ideas before I landed on, all right, this is the one I'm going to make. I like it for this reason. And because of that, just by the amount of quantity that I'm doing, I'm able to get the banger ideas and the hidden gems that, again, will guarantee your videos actually get views. I see most creators, they just go out and they find one video and they have a gut feeling, and based off of that, that is a surefire path to failure. I've done it so many times, and I can promise you this ratio is the golden of what's actually going to make something work. From that point on, you want to do the exact same thing here with titles. So when I'm making a title, the ratio that I like to follow is 50-to-1. That means on the video you're watching right now, I went through 50 other titles that I also thought were good before I actually landed on the one that you see as the final copy. And how I do this is actually extremely simple. I'll just go to ChatGPT over here and I'll say, I am making a video around a given topic, let's say SMMA, around how to set appointments for SMMA. Give me 100 winning YouTube title variations that are bound to go viral. And from this point on, you can prompt it in a whole bunch of different ways. That's not some magic prompt I did. But my point is that ChatGPT can create hundreds and as pretty much an infinite amount of actual banger YouTube titles that you can scan through, look at and go, all right, these are the best ones. So if you're just coming up with one YouTube title, again, you are losing because you're not exposing yourself to the right amount of ratios to actually do something well. The next thing is the thumbnails, and the thumbnails are a little bit different because they require much more time, cannot just be made with AI. Even though I do have a video on that, you want to follow a 10-to-1 ratio here. And so there's a strategy I learned from a guy that has 5 YouTube golden play buttons, which means 5 million or 1 million subscribers across 5 different channels here. And that is the process of actually sketching out thumbnails that you're going to make for a video. So when I'm going to make a video, pretty much what I'll do is I'll create, whether it's on a piece of paper or whether it's just on like Microsoft Paint or a whiteboard feature here, I'll create a few boxes. I'll create 10 of these for every single video here. And I'll actually article out how I want the video to look. So maybe on one of them, I have a square triangle here, then I have the main body of the video. Maybe on one, I'll have the circle here and the main body of the video. Maybe on another one, it will be a little bit more edited, and I'll have myself in the middle here with things on the middle layer of me, and then maybe I have one on the right side here. When you know what the winning thumbnail formats are, you can kind of repeat these and combine them with the crazy ratio that you're doing of titles to find out which one is actually going to perform the best for the given video you are creating. And if you go through this process of creating these ratios before you even start on the structure of the video, you are guaranteed to up your performance. And this is the secret. The 20% of work that leads to 80% of results with YouTube is the packaging, which means the title and the thumbnail, and then also the overall idea behind the video. And if you obsess over just that, you can be absolutely mediocre on camera and still absolutely destroy everybody who is spending hours and hours trying to make the best video content, because ultimately what matters most is the idea. And if you can get the idea right, everything else kind of justifies it. You can make mistakes in the videos. You don't have to be the best speaker ever, just because what you're talking about is interesting enough for people to stick around. Now, the next thing that I want to say is the posting frequency. With all the videos, I recommend that you post at a 3x to 5x weekly basis. So that means either if you're going to do the 3x, that's going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or if you're going to do the 5x, that would just be on every single weekday. And the reason why this is important is because it's the fastest way to build up a channel from literally nothing. Walking you through what to do, here's an example of a channel that recently did this. Starting 2 weeks ago, you can see this guy is built up to a point where he already has 3.35K subscribers here and has made well over $100,000 literally just from these YouTube videos here, directing to a free training or a book a call to sell his high ticket product. And the most important thing to look at is the posting frequency. Another example of this, when you don't actually see results as fast, this guy named Brian Clogg. And for the last few months, he's been posting daily. So not even the 3 or 5 times a week. He said, screw it, I'm going all in doing daily videos. And he has amassed a massive cult-like following in a niche that is very small of info products. So this is just proof that the posting frequency is so important, and it's the easiest way to quickly pop off, because when you're posting so frequently on a new channel, even if they haven't seen you on the YouTube algorithm for years and years, they're being reminded that you exist every single day, every single day, every single day. And it also means that your videos can perform a lot less and still be forgiving, because your total impressions that you're getting across the board are going to be way higher. So if you can do that, your micro niche is going to be established, and then your target audience are the next 2 most important parts. I see so many people do this and they just talk about a concept that everybody else before has talked about. They'll either talk about SMMA as a broad thing, or they'll talk about whatever given vertical they're in as a broad concept, and that's not going to work. You have to create your own niche within the overall niches. So to give you an example of how visually to diagram this out, you've got 3 core niches that anything is going to exist within. You've got health, it's the H, you've got wealth, and then you've got relationships over here. You don't want to find like a middle ikigai point. That's not what I'm saying. But within any single product that is ever sold, ever in existence, you've got one of these 3 categories that it falls under. So under the category of wealth, for example, you're going to have, well, you have making money online, or you have making money in person. And then within those, you have many verticals, and it just keeps breaking off into smaller and smaller chunks until eventually, let's say you get to like a biz op. So biz op, or like a make money online offer, you have the examples of drop shipping here. You've got the example of e-com. You've got the example of TikTok shop. You've got the example of SMMA. So most people are good at this point. They're going to pick any one of these verticals, and that's good. But where most people really mess up, and where you can get the big step ahead on people, is you want to create a niche within this thing that belongs to just you. So while everybody is talking about just the broad SMMA, or they might have their own thing that they talk about, you want to craft one that is completely belonging to you, that only you are talking about, because that's going to make you unique, and it's going to drive conversions and have a part of the market that is completely carved out for specifically what you do. And if you can create that, it is going to allow everything you do to have 10x the impact, because people don't buy better, they buy new. And that's the overall consensus, is when you create something that people have not seen before, you are now solving a problem that they didn't know they had, and providing a solution that justifies their previous failures. If you go to people and you say, hey, the reason why you failed at SMA in the past is for XYZ reason, they're not going to resonate with that, and they're not going to buy from you. Whereas if you can create a new vehicle of how you actually achieve this, you're going to have a way higher likelihood of seeing success. For example, with our $100 product, the reason why we're actually able to see success is because instead of just going after the same old market of SMMA, which Iman created, we said, hey, we're targeting teenagers and we're teaching them how to get their first client. Nobody else was talking about that given thing. And because of that, we became the instant authority and shot up in our space, even though we didn't have any prior personal branding. And the important thing that you might notice about that is, yes, you're going to have these specific branch offs. So the first client would be the equivalent of the branch off that we created. But what can also massively improve your conversion is creating a unique person that you go after. If you can target a segment of the audience and combine that with something they haven't seen before, it's going to just massively improve how much the marketing messaging that you have resonates and makes people feel, which is going to also massively jump the conversion you have. And then from that point on, they watch the content, they love it because you've executed all these things. You then want to move them onto what I call the path of easy yeses. What that means is, when you are creating a YouTube video like this, most people are just going to immediately install just a calendar link in their bio. But the truth is that some people are doing that now that everybody knows it's just a sales call and not like a consultative thing. And because of that, it does not work. So most people's YouTube channels, they have this crazy jump up from a video just like this to hopping on a call here. And because of that, what ends up being created is this massive audience of people who are warm enough to keep watching videos, but not warm enough to schedule a call. And because of that, you see absolutely nothing on your end here. I realized this when I put my Instagram in my bio, and I also had a calendar. And really, I get a whole bunch of followers, but I didn't get any calls scheduled. And it's when I created what I call the path of easy yeses, which is very similar to, if you know, Russell Brunson's value ladder, just adapted to specifically micro niche YouTube videos here. And what that means is, from the free video that we post, the next thing we're going to actually bring them towards here is going to be some form of free training. And then from that free training, we're going to have their contact information to then get into a conversation with them. So whether that's over the phone, whether that's over DM, WhatsApp, whatever it might be. And then from that point on, we're going to have a call here. So it's not like we have multiple products in the typical value ladder fashion. The only difference is that we're elevating them onto constantly having free stuff. And we're only then asking them for a call after they've already spoken with us, after they've already received value from us and watched our videos. And the reason why this works is because saying yes to a free training is something that a lot of people are willing to do after seeing a video that makes sense. And if all they have to do is exchange their contact information, it is going to allow you to then keep pushing them up eventually to the point where they get to a call here and you are able to close. And that's exactly what I do with the free training that I have right here, that again, you can opt in to watch if you'd like. However, I hope that the value you got from this video is worth the time you spent, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.